Okay, in today's video I just want to show you how to access data from a file. Okay, so hopefully you can see that I'm in Replit, and I've just got standard main.java, and I've just uploaded a file that I've created called names.txt, which has got all your names in it. Okay, so this is just a standard text file. So what I'm going to show you today is how we can use the scanner class to access the names in this text file. Okay, so I'm going to start by just taking you back to the scanner class, which is here, and hopefully we understand that what we see here, okay, there are 10 of them, are the constructors. So these are all the methods that have been created that we can use to construct an object of type scanner. Okay, so the one we've used before to get information from the keyboard is this one, okay, because system.in is a type of input stream. Okay, it's an input stream from a keyboard, so that's the one we've used before. So the one we're going to use today is this one, the top one, where we're going to create a scanner, and we're just going to create it, we need to provide it with a file. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this is a link, so this is another class. Okay, so we click on here, and so we're going to have to provide it with a file class. Now if we look at the file, then what's the constructor? How do we construct a file? Okay, so if we look here, these are the constructors for the file. Alright, now I think this is the one we're interested in, where we can create a new file instance by converting a given path name string into an abstract path name. So we're going to just give it the location of a file, and that will become our new file object. Okay, so let's give this a go, and maybe it'll make more sense when we code it. Okay, so we're going to start, as always, by just importing the scanner class. Okay, so we need to make sure we've got that. Alright, so import java.util.scanner. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Alright, and let's start by creating a new scanner object. Now this time, I normally call it keyboard input, but this time it's a file input, so I'm just going to call it file imp equals new scanner. Okay, now this is the important bit. You'll remember that the constructor told us to construct an object of type scanner. We can, as a parameter, supply it with a file. Okay, so in here I'm going to create a new file object. Okay, and again, it's like nested objects within objects. Okay, you'll remember that to make a new file, I just had to provide it with the path name. So in this case, as a string. Okay, so in this case the path name is names.txt. Okay, so there's my object created. As I said, it's a little bit different from the one we've done before, but as you can see, I've created a new scanner object. I've called it file imp, and basically it's going to read information from this file here, names.txt. Okay, now the methods then, once we've created it, are exactly the same. So what we should do is we should be able to go system.out.println, and let's see what happens if we say file input dot, and then you'll remember that we've used these before, so we can say next line, which is what we use to grab stuff from the keyboard, if you remember. Alright, so if we run that, let's see what happens. Okay, so we've broken it. Alright, so if you have a look here, we've got the compiler has come back and said, well, it's not correct. Okay, so it's come back and said it cannot find the symbol, so it doesn't know what a file is. Okay, so that's because, if you remember up here, we had to import java.util.scanner. Well, we need to do the same with file. We need to import it. Okay, so if we go back to the web page for the file, we will find out that it's in the IO. There we go. So it's in the IO library. Okay, so what we're going to do this time then is we're going to say import java.io.file. There you go. Alright, so we can try running it again, see what happens. So hopefully that should work this time. Okay, so now we've got another error. Alright, so this time this is an interesting error. Okay, so basically what it's saying is, look, it's unreported exception, file not found exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. Okay, so we need to just take a little minute and just talk about this for a minute. Alright, if we have a look, now look, this is the important part here. Okay, so if we go to the constructor for the file, okay, and so I've just clicked on it. Alright, so this is the constructor for the file that we're using. Okay, now look, this is really interesting. Okay, so what it does is it throws a null pointer exception. Okay, so I'm not really interested in that one. Actually, I want to go back to the scanner, because it's not the file that's causing us the problem. It's the scanner that's causing us the problem. Here we go. So if we have a look on this one, this is the one we want. Okay, so if we go and have a look at the scanner constructor that we've used, all right, if we go and have a look at the one that we normally use, which is with the input stream, where's that one? There. Okay, you see that that doesn't throw anything. Okay, that's why we can use it with no problems at all. But if we look at this one where we've got a file source, all right, what it says is it throws a file not found exception. So if you think about that, it's quite simple to understand, hopefully, is we're basically trying to access data from a text file. Well, what happens if that text file doesn't exist? So the computer is basically saying, I want you to tell me what to do if that file doesn't exist. Okay, so that's what I need to do. I just need to tell the computer what to do if that file doesn't exist. So to do this, I need to use what's called a try and catch. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the computer to try to do this. Okay, and if for any reason it can't do it, I'm going to tell it what to do if it can't do it. Okay, so I'm going to say try and do this. So I'm going to put all of this code in these brackets here. Alright, so basically I'm saying try and do this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, there is a chance that for some reason it might not work. Now, so what I'm saying to the computer is I'm saying, well, if it doesn't work, I want you to do this, which is what I'm telling it to do here. So I just need to check. So it says here, look, it throws a file not found exception. Okay, so I'm going to catch a file not found exception that I'm going to call X. Okay, and so if I catch that file not found exception, if for some reason a file can't be found, I'm going to tell the computer just to output the following. So I'm just going to put system.out.println and say couldn't find a file. Okay, now look. So let's just go back over that. All right, basically what we're saying is when we check the documentation for the scanner and we use this constructor, it tells us there is a chance it could throw an exception. So there's a chance that the file number might not be there, so it will crash. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to handle that because we know it could happen. So what we do is we put it into a try and catch. So we say try and do this bit of code here. Okay, if you can't do it, then I want you to do this bit of code here. So I want to catch that error. I know it could happen, so I'm going to catch it, and this is what I'm going to do if I catch it. Okay, so if we run the code now, let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. So we've still got another problem, so nothing works first time. Alright, so this time, now this is the same thing that we had before, isn't it? It says cannot find symbol. That's because the computer does not know what a file not found exception is. So, again, if we click on the code, the documentation, there you go, we'll find this is in the IO library. Okay, so it's in the IO library. So I can just go import java.io.file not found exception. There we go. Okay, and then we can try running it, see what happens. There you go, and there's the first name from the list. Okay, so there's Abdullah, who's the next name in the list. All right, so I'm going to upload this to Replit for you, and what I want you to do is have a go at seeing if you can get it to access all the rest of the names in the list. All right, speak to you soon.